So hello everyone. Thank you all so much for joining in and a very warm welcome to all the panelists who have joined us here today. I'm Sanjana Uttappa. I've been volunteering at Head Start for a few months now. And on the professional side, I run an artistic aromatherapy candle brand called Illumin. Before we dive into today's session, I'll just set the context by giving a brief introduction to Head Start and, of course, Startup September. Head Start has been leveraging the ecosystem for 14 years now, and this is our 15th year. And as part of our 15th year anniversary, we are celebrating something called Startup September, where we have a series of events that we are celebrating over the month, where we are bringing together stakeholders from across the ecosystem and trying to bring a huger impact. And as part of Startup September, we have this session today where we are showcasing some of the top incubators in the country, where we have the leaders of these incubators who have joined us here, who will take us through how they run their show at their incubators, some of the key highlights of their program, and some of the best practices of running an incubator. So without further delay, I will call our first speaker, Saurabh, to come and take us and run us through their program structure.
Sure.
So Saurabh, you can probably, you'll have probably 15 to 20 minutes to run us through your program structure. I'm sure you might have a deck or a presentation. Post that, we will have a quick conversation. So we are also open to questions from the attendees.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Sanjana. Yeah, so first of all, thanks to Head Start team for giving us this opportunity to interact with the startups and to bring our offering to the ecosystem. We are IT Mandi Catalyst, an incubator in Himalayan region, one of the earliest incubator in this region. And that's where our focus area is also. We look for startups who are working in Himalayan region or working in a solution which can be used in Himalayan region. We have launched in May 2016. We are a Section 8 non-profit company, being supported by various different government bodies from central and state government. We define ourselves as a friend, facilitator, and philosopher of the startup. Some of our key highlights in our journey are: we have been the first TBI in Himachal Pradesh. We have hosted around 500 plus training sessions. Till date, we have supported 163 plus startups. We have given funding of 5.7 crore. We have dispersed this fund till date to various startups. Our startup have won more than 70 plus awards, and also they have generated more than 500 plus employment opportunities. This is our startup portfolio. Till date, we have supported 163 startups, and out of that, you can see that the business stage of our active startups. So we engage with the startup initially in the journey and then take them to the commercialization stage. So 31 startups right now are in the commercialization stage. Also, now we will be going to launch our accelerator programs also. So we will be going to engage with late stage startups also now going forward. And our main, although we are sector agnostic, but some of the areas are definitely a clear indicator of our focus areas, which are like clean tech, health tech, enterprise management, agro-tech, and manufacturing. And going forward, we are going to run specific incubation and investment programs in human-computer interaction, about which I will talk in detail later. These are some of our prominent startups. So they are from the various field and domains, as I told. We have primarily all the technology-based startups. We have the electric vehicle, say it's all or the IoT-based startups or the data analytics. We have startup in all the region. Some of the startup have reached to now have raised the further fundings also, so that on the tune of 8 CR they have raised so far. This is the number of startups where we have given the funding support. So we have given around 59 startup prototyping grant. Also, prominently, we have given grant funds like Nidhi Prayas, Tide EIR, and also seed support like Nidhi seed support, IIT Mandi seed support, and HIM Startup Yojana to Himachal based startups. Now, let me talk about the incubation program which we have. So at present, we run our incubation program in 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is our exploration program, which is a 3-month program where we develop confidence with the startup, and we give them group mentoring, one-to-one mentoring, and the technical guidance. Then once this 3 months gets over, we again look at the startup, and we find out if the startup is, validate their idea, then we take them into the phase 2, where we have two different offerings. The offering phase 2A, where we provide the incubation, where we give them, we provide grant funding under various schemes, Nidhi Prayas, TIDE, or CPS Prayas, which we have. And also the startups which are in more later stage of their journey, we give them the investment in as a seed fund. So we have, as I said, that the various seed support schemes available. As an incubator, so these are the offering which we give to the startup. The major USP of IIT Mandi is, of course, the technical faculties which we have, and also the state-of-the-art laboratories which we have. So they are the one of the best equipment available in the labs, and the opportunity, the startup get the opportunity to work on the cutting-edge technologies in the guidance of technical mentor, as well as with the pool of more than 70 business mentors. So we have a structured mentoring program to cater to such needs. Again, then in that, this is our team. We are the team of 9 professionals supported with our board of governors coming from the different walks of industry. This is our network of business and networking mentors from various industries. Most of them are having the entrepreneurial experience and the investors. And now talking about our coming programs in field of area of human-computer interaction. So this is a area where the IIT Mandi Catalyst is going to launch various different programs, incubation, as well as the acceleration program. So the IIT Mandi has been chosen by the Department of Science as one of the Cyber Physical Systems Center, the Technology Innovation Hub. The focus area of this Technology Innovation Hub is human-computer interaction. So an area where all the technologies which which basically make computer and human use their best of their skills together and get the super results. So that's the area where we are looking at. The areas under human-computer interaction are various. It can be under the manufacturing, it can be for the defense, it can be for the healthcare, it can be for the edutech. So we are open to any domain where the SCI application can be used. Some of the examples can be the landside monitoring or farming applications, smart assistive technologies, or digital pathology, neuroradiology, and it can be the audio-based, visual-based, or the combination of both technologies. So this is the program we are launching. So as the first step of the engagement, the incubation phase 1, we have just opened the application for it. The last date is actually 15th September for it. So under that is under the incubation program, we will be those startups who will complete the phase 1 successfully. They can apply to various funding schemes. So for the prototyping, we are giving up to 6 lakh rupees grant under Prayas scheme. For startups who are into commercialization zone, they can go for the seed support program, can get up to rupees 50 lakh. And then we have also those students or those people who entrepreneurs who are just starting their journey. They can go for the entrepreneur in residence program and can get up to rupees 30,000 per month as a support under the scheme. Apart from this support, we are also launching our accelerator program in near future. And we will be also going to hold the grand challenges in the area of human-computer interaction. So yeah, this is what we are doing. So yeah, again, thank you very much to HeadStart team for giving this opportunity.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you so much for running us through this. Before I get into the technical questions, I have a very interesting question. So how is it to run an incubator from the hills? Like, tell us something more about that. Like, how's the startup ecosystem there?
Yeah, sure. I think it's pretty interesting running an incubator in hills, and as we are seeing the trend, particularly after COVID, what we have seen that many startups are now thinking to shift to a location where this kind of problem should not come. So we have seen a good increase in number of application. We are seeing that the more and more people want to come to the area here and want to work on their ideal city. So basically, we from the beginning itself, we are taking teams across India. We have a good number of startups coming from all parts of India. And we would love to work with all the startups. So we have also, so initially before COVID, we used to have this 3-month excavation program where the startup had to compulsorily come to the campus and then be physically present here. Now, because of the COVID, we have shifted to virtual program. And now what we have thought about to keep it till the excavation program, we keep it in the virtual mode. So we will be now working on the hybrid model of incubation, where a startup can still work on their idea virtually. And if they want to come to campus, they are welcome to come here and use the co-working space and the laboratories available.
Okay. Can you tell us something more about the accelerator program you're launching, like from incubator to an accelerator? How has the journey been and what are the things that you're looking at?
Right. So we have been running the incubation program for the last 5 years, and we have supported a lot of startups in the early stage of their journey. Now, with the coming focus area of human-computer interaction, we are now launching the acceleration program also to support such startups who are in later stage of their journey. And under that, we are bringing a lot of technical expertise because being as a focus area of the technology innovation hub itself, so the IIT Mandi itself has generating a lot of technical faculties and the research associate on this area. So it will become a hub area for any startup who is working in human-computer interaction. They will have the very easy access to the technical expertise in the field. And then they will have the access to the state-of-the-art laboratories, which is being developed now. So it will be the accelerator program will have the focus area in human-computer interaction and will cater to both their business and technical requirement.
Okay, great. I also saw and noticed that a lot of your startups have raised funds and how you guys have helped them raise funds. And I also noticed that you have a seed fund associated with the incubator program. So can you tell us a little more about various funding opportunities these startups will have access to as part of the cohort?
Right, sure. Yes, so we have different grants. So we have two kind of financial support available. One in form of grant. So normally on a prototyping stage, we give the grant, like we have Nidhi Prayas or Ministry of Electronics IIT's TIDE. We also have a prototyping grant coming in form of sustenance allowance from Himachal government. So these are the prototyping grant which we provide. And now going forward in the area of human-computer interaction, we are also launching a parallel prototyping grant, which is a SCI Prayas, which we are calling. So this will be again available to the startup working in SCI area. Now, to startup who are in a later stage of their journey, we will be going to give them seed fund. We have Nidhi seed support program available to us. And also, we also have those startup who are have the Himachali founder can also apply for the Him Startup Yojana by the Himachal state government. So we are the disbursing in the selection agency for that. And also we are looking forward for other various different central government funding schemes. We also work with a scheme for SC and ST entrepreneurs, and also with the AICT. We also work with them in dispersing the fund to the startups. So all these funds will be available to once startup complete the phase 1 successfully and get the confidence, they can apply to any of the scheme whenever there is a call for application.
Okay. We also have a question from the audience here. Our startup idea is related to the application of IoT in organic farming. Can we apply in this program?
Yes, definitely, you can. So agri-tech definitely is one of the area. Basically in SCI, what we are looking forward is that the computer or computer assisted technologies should enable human decision making, should make it more smarter. And if that is making it so, definitely you are welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Saurabh. And I wish you all the very best for the new accelerator program and also the HCI. So thank you for coming over and sharing insights about your incubator program.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanya. Thank you, Reem.
So I would like to call our next speaker, Tanul Mishra, to come and share a few words about their program.
But thank you for having me over, Sanjana, and it's a pleasure to share our journey here on Head Start. I'm going to quickly share the screen so we can sort of take it from there.
Yeah, I think you should have got the access.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So as you can see, we're probably the only private independent incubator which is focused on fintech. We're based out of Bangalore. But our program has been hybrid since we started, and you'll know why as I progress through this presentation. So what's our approach is what I want to first start with. We have our proprietary approach called as Afsonia Flywheel. We literally work with early stage startups, so which means that even if you're a startup in, say, the concept stage, you can come and approach us. And our goal is to basically take you from that stage that you are at all the way to the next inflection point. So whether it means helping you build a team, get you traction, help you launch in other markets, raise funding, anything and everything that is needed to get a business to the next inflection point is what we help startups do. So what are the things that we, how do we do this? So one of the things is we are stage agnostic. So like I said, even if you're an idea on a piece of paper, come talk to us. We're happy to onboard you if things work well. We don't have a batch system. So we have what we call a rolling cohort, which means we onboard startups through the year. So every month we're talking to startups and making them a part of our program. It is a customized program. So which means that every startup gets an individual mentor assigned to them, and it could be multiple mentors depending on the areas of help that they work with. How does this happen? This happens because we have a selection process where our mentors and advisors get involved with startups. So when you're talking to us and we're trying to understand how your vision is and what you're going to be working on, we sort of form a blueprint, which helps us understand what is the strength, the weakness, the opportunities of the startup. So think of it like a SWOT analysis. Based on this, we actually help form the path of the startup for the next 12 to 18 months when they're incubated with us. That's what helps us not have a cookie cutter approach. We make sure that the startups that work with us have a global outreach. So depending on the solution that you have in the regulatory or the statutory requirements in the different domains, we look at helping a lot of our startups launch globally. So 2 of our startups have actually launched in the US first and are now looking to expand their footprints into the Indian market. Okay, so that's one thing. What works well for us and what's our USP? Essentially, the way we've structured our program is what helps make us different. So one is that we have a global approach. So whether you're looking at whether there's investment for startups, whether it's launching in a particular market, the knowledge access, that comes with a global approach. So if you look at InsurTech as an industry, it's far more matured internationally than it is in India. So if you're an InsurTech startup, the global learnings can be incorporated while you're looking at launching within India with our program. Most of our mentors and advisors are from different parts. So they're from UK, US, India, Europe. So what this does is it gives us a very deep and strong network strength, which we can leverage for our startups in all aspects, right? The other thing that we pride ourselves on is being founder friendly. What that means is that our accessibility, our responsiveness, feedback, transparency makes us different. And we are sort of deeply entrenched with the startup till they reach a stage where they're stable enough to run on their own. We don't have a classroom approach. So every startup is different and every startup gets a program that's tailored to help it grow fastest. The one thing that I think differentiates us very strongly is the kind of partnerships that we've built during our journey in the last 2 years. So whether it's been partnering with, Yes Bank, whether it is with having growth partners on board, where you have individuals as well as corporates that work with startups and help them in execution also. So whether you're looking at legal advice, financial, statutory, investing, these partnerships have helped our startups grow faster and become more stable over a period of time. We're sort of believe in quality, so the number of startups that we incubate are lesser. So we've done about 7 startups in the last 2 years. They've focused across fintech segments, so whether it's payments, blockchain, wealth management, B2B, B2C, SaaS, we're sort of agnostic in that sense within the fintech. 6 out of 7 of our startups have raised funds, and they're all above 5. So cumulatively, they've raised over 5 crores of funding in the last 2 years. One of them is cash flow positive. So one of them, actually called Blocksurvey, was a part of the Stacks Accelerator, which was one of the first international accelerators focused in the blockchain space. One of our startups have raised pre-Series A funding. And like I was saying, a payment startup, GRCF, as well as Blocksurvey, have actually launched in Southeast Asia and US even before they've launched in the Indian market. What do we want to do in the future, right? So there are 3 key areas that we want to focus in the next 1 year. One is we want to incubate at least a cumulative of 20 plus startups by March 2022. One of the key goals that we have is to actually push female-led fintech startups as a part of our program. So we're looking to onboard at least in, the bare minimum is 2 female-led fintech startups to be a part of our program. InsurTech has and will continue being a key focus area for us. So InsurTech startups, which are in really early stages, or even if you're in a growth stage, looking to establish global footprints, those are the kind of startups that we're literally looking to take forward in the next 1 year. That's literally us. And if you want more details, you can look out at the website, the Facebook handle, and you can write to us.
Thank you so much, Tanul. I just have very few basic questions here.
Sure.
So how do you think it
Let me just stop sharing my screen.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So how is it to run a hybrid program? Do you think the startups are able to leverage similarly as they used to before? There is a lag, or like they are losing out on something?
No, see, look, our program has always been hybrid, purely because we have established a bunch of global mentors, right? So if you want to leverage international connections and international knowledge, it's going to be very difficult to sort of be a pure on-ground model. So we've been hybrid. It's worked for our startups. Most of the startups that, so we launched in 2019. The growth phase for most of our startups actually came during the COVID times, right? And it was wonderful that the program was already, they were used to an online model, and that helped them grow faster. The reason we have a physical space is sometimes you need an office. So we have a 5,000 square feet space, which is available for our startups, but do we see it compromising physically in terms of the quality of the program? Not at all. We think it helps them do better.
Great. I noticed that you have mentored 7 startups over 2 years, right? That's like quite, that looks like you have a quite rigorous screening process. So can you give startups some things they should look out for when they apply for the incubator?
Sure. Yeah. So we call it an intensive process, right? And because it's, so the couple of things that we really honestly look out for is, A, we're not judging you an idea. For us, it's about understanding the vision of the founding team and refining that. So basically what we look for is a founding team which has a very hands-on approach, is adaptable and flexible, is okay or is comfortable being uncomfortable, because entrepreneurship is about being uncomfortable with the unknown. So these are literally the 3 things that define for us when it comes to looking at the founding team.
Okay. And can you give us a little more insights on your global outreach? Like you did mention that you focus a lot on global partnerships, and you also help startups take them global.
Yes, that's right. So it's sort of inbuilt into the nature of the program that we have. So when you're a startup that gets onboarded with us, so even during the onboarding journey and when we are sort of having a conversation, we have mentors and advisors who get involved from different regions, depending on the areas of the business. So when so say you get incubated after the process, you have a mentor who will be specific to your product or your business area globally. And they work with you one-on-one, and they bring in that network strength and knowledge strength to help you open doors in the markets internationally. So, okay, let me give you an example. So one of our startups, which is BlockSurvey, which is a blockchain privacy driven data collection platform, right? Actually had international mentors. So when they decided to work on the product, the entire UI, UX, and everything was mentored by an international mentor sitting in the US, which helped them prepare for a launch and which helped them open doors internationally and work with clients. So by the time they were hitting the 8th or 9th month of operation, they were already cash flow positive because they were onboarding clients while being in the beta stage.
Got it. Yeah. That's it from my end. I'll just check if we have anything from the audience. I think we are good to go. Thank you so much for sharing, and I wish you all the very best for your way ahead.
Thank
you. Sanjana, we do have a question. Just pop.
Oh, okay. So I'll just quickly take this.
Yeah, sure.
Our product is related to fintech. We are in ideation stage, and we are ready with the business model part. But as our idea is related to neobank without traditional bank support, we can't do. Can you help us?
Sure. Drop us a mail at tanul@fsonialab.com. We'll have a conversation on the idea and see how we can do this.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have Satya as our next speaker. So and Satya, you hear? Yeah. Hi, Satya.
Hi.
So good to see you. How have you been?
Yeah, nice to see you after a long time. I think we spoke last during the first lockdown. How have you been?
I've been good. And how's the new job treating you? How's the move been?
I mean, it's treating me good, and I'm also treating the job well. So I think it's just a start. It's just been 1.5, 2 months since I joined, yes. And exploring things, slowly settling down.
Nice. So Satya, maybe you could walk us through your program structure and we could take the conversation forward.
Yeah, sure. Sure, you'll be able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm Satya, and I have joined as a CEO for AIC Great Lakes Balachandran Incubator in Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai. And we have this is the introduction. So we basically our vision is to evangelize, network, and catalyze the entire entrepreneurship growth in India. We focus on, I'll not talk much about the goals. I'll take you through the focus areas as you have listed your priority, order. So our focus areas has been 4 core focus areas: tech, healthcare, agri-tech, and fintech. And energy tech, basically the startups who are working on the circular economy, renewable energies, and so on. We've added 2 more areas of focus. One is femtech, that is female technologies or innovations which are working towards empowering women, or even SaaS platforms for getting jobs or anything, wearables, medtech, healthcare, focus on women and empowering them and connected to them, and rural tech, because we have a special focus called Kartavya, and then through that we also see how we can actually push innovation towards rural empowerment, whether it's jobs or bringing up their lifestyle, or reducing their effort and getting more yield, and so on and so forth. So this is a glimpse of our lab, basically the space what we have in the campus. This is our approach. We have an incubation program where we incubate startups right from the ideation stage, where they're actually still ideating. So they can also come to us. We help them validate their idea, and then get them a proper business plan, and then pre-incubate them, incubate them, and then take them towards the acceleration program. So the acceleration program is something which we will be launching very soon. What is the USP? AGBI's USP is the 6G model, where we talk about focus on entry level till the scale up. We take them through a very curated process of stages, and our alumni mentors from the campus and also our mentors who are associated on our board help them go through these phases in a very quick manner. These are some of the achievements. We have 101 startups till now who have been incubated, some of our student startups and also some of the startups from outside. We also have 8 startups graduated successfully. Our startups have raised around 73 crores in terms of cumulative value, and valuation at around 300 crores. And we have around 240 mentors signed up and 25 corporates. These are some of the MarQ graduates success stories what we have. Some of the startups who have raised funds while they are at incubation, and some of them after graduation. This is our leadership team. It's headed by Professor Veeravalli, who's the faculty advisor and also the mentor, and I'm the CEO, and we have Elizabeth as COO, who's also an alum of AGBI, Narmada and Praveen. So some of the focus areas, unique things is we also focus we also involve our students in the campus for our programs. We have SciComm Committee, Center of Innovation and Entrepreneurships, which is actually headed by the PGPA executive students, which is actually a good part for startups, because the startups who are actually struggling with non-business acumen or who are only focusing on tech, innovation, they can actually get help from the SciComm members, because these students are very good and witty and smart in marketing and other functional areas, which probably the innovators lack, because they're all engineering mindset and they come from the product side. This is about AGBI Kartavya, because there's a lot of social element involved in it, and we work with communities and see how we can actually, push innovation there. These are some of our ecosystem partners. We also plan to, add some more, because that's the key. So if you ask me what's the road ahead, for us would be to come up with a cutting-edge sustainability plan, even after the support from government or other sources are being over, because where I come from, the previous stint, I have funded or I have been supporting incubators myself, being in government, and I see where the incubators really slow down after a period of time. And they typically end to work like plug and play office spaces. So that is where we actually would like to add a value, and we want to accelerate ourselves after some time. So it's been, we are a new incubator. We started off in November 2019. We just had 3 months before COVID hit us, and most of our journey has been through COVID, and we have somehow been able to pass through this phase. Thanks to the ecosystem and mentors who are there. And what we actually look forward for is launching 2 acceleration programs for startups, where we will have only 10 startups per cohort and 2 cohorts a year. And we will only focus on very outcome-based programs where there will be some things which we also equally take part along with the startups journey, and we involve ourselves. We actually have working groups where we will actually ensure that these startups, have some objective outcome. So that is what we are actually looking at.
Okay.
So that's in a nutshell.
Yeah. So you did mention about the accelerator program, and if it isn't too early, can you run us through the program structure a bit, like who are you looking to do things?
No, so we are actually in the process of building the program, because as I said, we are we are looking at several programs which are successful. We are taking some stakeholders consultation and then seeing that, as I said, it's just not another yet acceleration program, but it's an acceleration program with an outcome-based objective.
Got it. We have a question from the audience here. What kind of support is available for startups if they would like to join remotely? And what are policies for incubatees, like the business model between incubatee and incubator?
So, see, one of the things about AGBI or any institute like AGBI, which I would like to, say is the strength of the, knowledge coming from the faculties of the faculty pool of the institute, right? So we recently launched a business plan for you program for the internal students and the SciCommers whom I spoke to, so that we actually want to empower the SciComm committee members so that they in turn start involving themselves with our incubated startups. That is one of the things which our startups can get. Second thing is we are in the process of almost finishing up our setting up of AI/ML lab, which will actually have a remote access for startups to work on. We are also tying up with some corporates to have some test cases so that they can run their ML programming and their platforms on, through our, lab remotely. On the other side, we also believe that we should have a very good service provider portfolio, for which we are also tying up with other corporates and other service providers.
Thank you on that, Satya. Satya, you also did mention that you all have various initiatives for the women or for the rural sector. So give us a little more insights into that. And I also have a follow-up question. So we often have a lot of initiatives around women entrepreneurship and things. So how well do you think these programs are able to reach the tier 2 or the tier 3 cities and the women of those cities or rural areas? How well is it accessible to them?
Sure, very good question. So to answer this, we are working with one of the organizations. I would not like to name it because still we are in the process of closing up. So we are working with an organization where it has tie-ups with the institutes or the graduation colleges in tier 2 and tier 3 cities of the state. And we're going to be launching an ideation hackathon very soon, which can be applied only by teams where girls are there, and the innovation or their ideas are also focusing on women empowerment. So that way we are already having a plan where we are actually trying to reach the tier 2 and tier 3 parts of the town. And this organization which we are working up with is a non-for-profit organization where they're already engaging and they're doing a lot of things women centric, and we will be able to channelize all these efforts through this funnel what we will be having. So that is where we are actually coming up with.
Great. And I have one last question. I saw that you guys have incubated 101 startups, but graduated 8 startups. So that math looks very strict. Can you take us through that?
So see, we are not time-based where I told you, we started off in November 2019, and I think we just had 3 months to, before the COVID hit us. So most of the startups still, we ourselves feel that, they are not graduation ready. So we're not pushing them for, okay, no, you get graduated, and go out. We don't want them to go out. So some people have gone out. It's not that they haven't, but we are not considering the ones voluntarily gone out as graduated. We are only considering the real ones where we feel that we have graduated as graduated, but yes, some of them are yet to graduate. We also want them to be with us till we actually add some kind of quantum value for them for the time what they've spent with us.
Got it. We have one more question. AGBI-led startups have generated good number of funds. How does it work?
You should ask the startups, you should ask the founders. So one thing I'll tell you, our valuation, what we have put on the, one of our dashboard is basically this valuation comes by either the valuation done by the VCs or the angels before they raise their funds, or the valuation what they've got done from the IBBI valuators, certified valuators, which before by themselves before raising the funds. So based on these, what do you say, fact, we have actually arrived at this number. But how they raise the funds, even I'm trying to introspect because I've just joined there. But this is what is the numbers what I've got from my team. Yeah, I think we had got some good founders. Yeah. So.
Thank you, Satya. Thank you for coming and sharing these with us. And I wish you all the best for all the various initiatives that you guys are planning. Thank you and good luck.
Thanks for being such a nice moderator, and thanks for all the questions from the audience, and thanks for Head Start for hosting such a good session. Thank you.
Thank you. So our next speaker for the day is Venu Gopal. Can I just request?
Hi, Sanjana. Good evening.
Good evening, Venu Gopal. So maybe you could quickly run us through your program.
So let me begin. Good evening, everyone. My name is Venu Gopal TR, and I'm the Incubation Manager at Forum for Innovation, Incubation, Research and Entrepreneurship, shortly known as FIRE. So we are a Nidhi incubator. That is, we are a technology business incubator established with the support of Department of Science and Technology under their National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations, right? We are hosted at the Don Bosco College of Engineering in Fatauda, South Goa, which is promoted by the Fatauda Salesian Society, which is a worldwide society of Don Boscos having branches in over 100 countries. In India, Don Bosco Society has over 500 institutes that they are engaged with for the education of the young, right? So as a technology business incubator, we are focusing on these four things. So the first one is definitely incubation. So through our incubation program, we work with startups, early stage startups, to assist, validate, and launch their companies. We may ensure that people who come to us get a real good feedback about what they want to do. Are they doing it in the right way? And if we could really assist them in what they want to achieve, through their startup, right? And in the second one, we have the fast track mode where we talk to slightly mature startup founders who already figured out, what could possibly work for them, but they want the right kind of support at the right time, the right kind of interventions, or you could say the right connects to ensure that whatever they've already proven, they're able to commercialize and, make a high ticket sale, right? So we do this by partnering with the startup and maybe taking a small stake in the startup. Three, we believe in working very closely with all the ecosystem players in our state. So we believe in the concept of co-incubation. So through this, we make sure the startup gets all the support that it requires, not just from one incubator, also from other incubators who have their own specialization. Maybe in this, I could give you an example of one of the companies that we initially started supporting, and they wanted support from an incubator that specialized in biotech, and we helped them get connected to the biotech incubator with Pilani. Just early this year, they ended up raising their Series A fund from an investor based out of Europe, right? And fourth, we are trying to ensure we are well equipped with funds in-house to not only be able to support startups at their ideation stage, but also to be able to help them build their MVPs, right? Currently, we've got the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, and along with that, we also have received the Nidhi Prayas. We are working towards building an angel group based out of Goa and building our own corpus for it. Right, again, based on the focus that I mentioned, this is how we work. So we want to ensure that innovation is supported through our incubation programs. So we focus on agri-tech and allied services. We also focus on product development and manufacturing, and any service or products based on Industry 4.0. The reason being, these support areas or areas of interest are, we work very closely with our host institute, which is a technical college, an engineering college. So it's very easy for us to get early stage support and access to workshops and mentors when it comes to product development and manufacturing and anything to be developed in industry. During the incubation process, we work towards getting in startups in these key areas, but we are also open to supporting startups from other areas, right? So during mentorship, we ensure that the startup has a mentor who understands the technicality behind that particular startup, and also a functional and a business mentor who can help them take care of those aspects as well. At the same time, we also believe in ensuring that these guys just don't copy things done by another startup. So we try to bring in an IPR element, or we search for an IPR element in the startup. So at the third phase, we ensure that the startups just don't take too much time and just talk about it. We really want them to spend some time and build what they initially showcase, in the form of an idea. So we focus very much on building an MVP. So we ensure that either they are able to bootstrap and build it by themselves, or we try to help find some kind of a resource or a support mechanism which will help them build it. Also, along the way, we try to make sure that they find this user set of early adopters or the right customer segments to ensure that what they're building makes sense and they get proper feedback, right? So one additional thing that we focus on is, during the confirmation or the scale phase, is that we have a quarterly meet with angel investors and VCs without fail, right? So I think we are one of the few incubators who's enforced this to ensure that quality feedback is given to these startups by investors themselves to make sure that the startups are aligned with what is a good product market fit and whether what they're doing really makes sense. So when we come to our approach, these are the 6 sectors from which we funnel our startups. The first one being the early stage startups from the ecosystem. The second one being startups who come in as part of the accelerator program. The third one being rural innovations, where we work with grassroots level entrepreneurs. The fourth one where startups are working with technologies or certain niche areas that could only be used by industry players. And fifth, where we focus on technology transfers, where we make the meeting between entrepreneur, the businessman, and the investor. And finally, student startups from our own host institution and students from other colleges in the Goan ecosystem. So as part of the same funneling approach, this is how we roll out our program. So we also do it on a rolling basis rather than as a cohort, because we don't want to say no to any startup who has come in and they were not being part of a particular cohort. So we start with the application where we source these startups from the 6 sectors that I mentioned, and we give them pre-incubation time. We give them access to the workspace and all the other facilities for a period of 1 month. So this is the idea pad stage. So here the startup has to work, make use of the available mentors or any other resource that we provide to them, and identify the problem statement that they initially had an idea about, right? So once we have the problem statement, the entrepreneur or the startup will then pitch to the selection committee, tell us why they think that they're solving a real problem and why we should support them. So once we have that understanding, we make the startup understand what the curriculum will be when they're here during the incubation process, and they start working on their concept, right? So we work with them and connect them to 3 mentors, like I mentioned, and we ensure that they get every resource to be able to at least build their MVP. So as soon as they say that they have their MVP in place, we ensure that we explore if there is a potential for any IPR that can be filed. And we also may ensure that they get their first set of feedback from their early adopters, on the basis of which we help them iterate and build their product in a much better way. On basis of this, we then figure out which is the best business model for them to go to market. And then again, by this time, they would have spoken to our group of angel investors and VCs who would have given them feedback to ensure that they are investment ready, right? So let's talk about the USP. So unlike a lot of incubators, we try to ensure that our startups start working from day one, not waste a lot of time, and they have something to show by the end of 6 months, right? So the advantage that we have here is they would have met our quarterly investor committee once they get into the program, right? At the initial stage, pitch to them with the idea, take some suggestions from them, and then work along with the timeline that is shown right here. And towards the end of the 6 months, they would have gotten a chance to meet with them again, right? And this time they would have reached a far more, down the lane compared to their initial roadmap. A lot of things would have changed, a lot of feedback would have been incorporated, and then now the investors would give them, a real scenario whether that startup should continue or would they be able to raise investments and so forth. So another part of the USP is, definitely talking about our location. We're based in Goa, and we have more floating population than the actual resident population. So things. So we are trying to ensure that people open their eyes to the possibility of working from Goa, setting up their startups from Goa because of the diverse spread of people in the state. And definitely we have the infrastructure to handle this kind of the bandwidth of people coming in, the bandwidth of startups setting up shops. So we have workspace in the commercial capital of the state. When it comes to access, since we are promoting Industry 4.0 and we are promoting product development and manufacturing, we have the state-of-the-art PCB lab, a SolidWorks design lab, and a fab lab which has a CNC and all the other machinery that is required for physical product-based startups to work on their prototypes, etc. And to follow up with that, we also have these funding programs such as the Startup India Seed Fund Scheme, the Nidhi Prayas program, and access to angel and VCs. So we look at a few flagship programs that we have launched as an incubator. To start off with, I'll talk about the Goa Tourism Accelerator program that by the mid of this month. So we are working towards helping the tourism sector of Goa get better. So we've seen that during the pandemic, the tourism sector in Goa across the country has taken a very bad hit. So since we are trying to look at a regional problem that we want to solve, because we are a incubator based out of Goa, we are trying to solve the issue with tourism and tourism related aspects, right? So apart from that, I would also like to talk about the VHack hackathons that we have. So these are hackathons that we work around with industry or corporate partners. They come to us or we go to them in search of problems that they face in their regular operations, and we try to solve them with the help of startups, right? So apart from that, we also have the Business Diva competition where we emphasize the importance of women entrepreneurs in our ecosystem and identify them, help them get better, and give them a platform to showcase what they've achieved. Finally, we have an in-house program called Helping Entrepreneurs Achieve and Thrive. In short, it's called the HEAT program, where we get all the founders as part of our incubation program to talk to each other, to understand the different problems they are facing as a whole, how they were able to solve it, and to also to be able to help each other out through referrals. So apart from VHack, we also have a lot of events that go on. Event is also being one of our funnels to get in great entrepreneurs and startups within the ecosystem to come to Fire. So let's talk about our achievements. So in the last 3 years, we've had 4 startups who filed patents, 2 startups for whom we helped raise funding, and 2 startups who have engaged with the government. So for the road ahead, currently we are focusing on our Goa Tourism Accelerator. It's a 16-week accelerator program. We've had around 50 plus applications pan India, and we'll be working with around 10 startups. Our team is currently working on shortlisting these candidates. So as a follow-up to the tourism accelerator, we would then focus on the waste management accelerator that is currently being planned. So most of the problems that we want to solve as an incubator and through accelerator programs are region specific. So we want to ensure that we look at solving real critical problems in our region before we scale these programs on a national level. And definitely, since we are selected for both the Nidhi Prayas and the Startup India Seed Fund scheme, we are planning to ensure that we roll out both these schemes aptly. So that's about it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Venu. I'll just pick up from where you dropped, starting off with the Goa Tourism Accelerator Program. So, what are some of the innovative solutions or startups you have seen in this space when it comes to tourism?
I will not be able to tell you all, so I can
No,
maybe
I
pick
mean,
up a couple of.
of course,
So,
just generally.
so let me talk about one. Yeah. Let me talk about. So, for the accelerator program, we are looking at people with solutions who can come in and fill that gap that the pandemic has created. In terms of people being able to use certain services, or in the hospitality or in the tourism sector as a whole, right? So I'll give you one example. So we have a startup that is a product specific startup. So in the capital city right now, the government has set up waste bins to ensure that people don't throw waste everywhere. Okay, so this is a very common thing, but to make sure people don't miss the waste bin, they've set up screens on the waste bins, right? So they're trying to make sure your attention is caught. So when you're looking at the screen, you realize it's actually a waste bin, right? So similar startup that is currently setting up toilets that use less water but are accessible to everyone. So the cost of maintaining these mobile toilets are very less compared to your traditional toilets, right? So similar to these, we have a lot of ideas that have come in that want to not just replace the current way the companies, or let's say small businesses, are working. They want to work along with them to ensure that
Um,
everybody works together in the ecosystem.
okay. Uh, can you hear me properly,
I hope
Venugopal?
you were able
Because
to catch that.
so I think there's just a slight lag, and that's okay. I'll just put the same question this way. So you said you are looking to solve the region-specific problems. So if you could mention some of the specific problems that you're looking for solutions, maybe we might have few startups in the audience, we could leverage from.
Uh-huh.
If there
So
are
two
anything
things
you
that
could mention, yeah.
right away.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, two areas that we're looking at right away are tourism and waste management. So through tourism, we want to ensure that we are able to solve certain problems that both the government side and the private side see that particular issue as a problem. Okay. So any solution that a startup brings, so on one side, we want to ensure that the government policies are okay with the way the startup is solving this problem. And at the same time, we also want to understand from the private side, the association of let's are also okay with the way the startup is rolling out the solution, so that it does not hurt the pocket of the local businessmen or the local service providers, right? And the second one is the waste management accelerator, or the problem that waste management is currently causing. Because we have a lot of floating population, we see the state and some of their heritage sites, the most frequented tourist sites getting polluted. So we can't stop this pollution, but we should be able to tackle this problem in a better way. So we are seeing how we can manage this in the next phase of this accelerator program, which will focus on waste management.
Okay, great. I would like to call Gautam now and come and share some insights on the session, and also give a a vote of thanks.
Hey, thanks a lot, Sanjana.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think my network's good so far. So thank you so much. I would love to, quickly say hi to the panelists for the day. Thank you so much, Saurabh. Thanks, Venu. Thanks, Tanul. And thanks, Satya, for joining us today. I did have the privilege of listening to all of you, very informal, candid conversations on, about your incubator and the programs. So thank you so much for joining us. And, I really wanted to acknowledge Sanjana as well for, making it informal as possible, at the same time trying to extract as much as possible, because something that I really was very keen when I started listening to all these CEOs here today was how can we bring out more about these top quality innovation hubs, for the benefit of the startups across India. These are 4 innovation hubs in my view that have a lot to offer to Indian startups. So, and that's exactly why we're having this kind of a discussion, because we want more of you aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs to know about these hubs and the kind of impact they create, A, in the sector, and B, in the region that they operate in, right? And you would have listened to all of them. All 4 of them operate in a certain sector, while supporting startups. There is always a strength or a primary focus sector, while of course a few of them have a very I would say exciting geography that they work out of as well, which is where Saurabh and Venu, I'm sure a lot of us, Satya and Tanul, envy you, for operating out of Goa and Himachal. And I'm sure I would love to go ahead and offer on behalf of Tanul and Satya a co-incubation opportunity for at least the CEOs to work out of your respective incubators sometime, right? Tanul, you're on mute again, though it's been 12 months.
I know, I'll happily travel to Mandi right now. He just has to say yes to co-innovation.
And the best part is having both the hills as well as the beaches on the call. So thank you so much, all of you. And I think the best part about the Head Start Hub Alliance also is that, we've got innovation hubs that are very different from each other, both in the sectors that they focus on, as well as the geographies they're based out of. So for anyone like me who loves vacations, working out of different places, the number of options are a lot always. Working out of IIT Mandi 1 week, and then, in fact, incidentally, I was working out of Fire in Goa last week when I was in Goa. And, just wanted to put it out there for all of you that speak to the CEOs here, reach out to them. There's a lot happening in these innovation hubs in terms of the infra, in terms of the kind of support from corporates and mentors that they've brought in. And the advantage of having incubators go very niche and deep in certain sectors is probably tantamounts to how deep can they really get you or take you in your journey. So all the best to all of your journeys with these innovation hubs. And thank you so much, Satya, Tanul, Saurabh, and Venu for joining us today.
Hey.
Look forward to working closely with all of you.
Hey, sure. Just to add at the end, as you said, even not only the enablers, even the startup founders can come to Mahabalipuram, and we plan to see how we can provide some stay for the startup founders, because we understand that our campus is far away. Saurabh knows it. Saurabh has been part of it before. Though we have officially not met, we are meeting for the first time. Hi, Saurabh. So, and let's see how we can actually go ahead with doing this. I think ecosystem exchange is also a very great idea.
And for someone who didn't know about AIC's location, Great Lakes location, they are probably located right next to India's best surfing pod. So if any of you surfers out there, just a few kilometers from Great Lakes is where you'll find all the celebrity surfers out there. So, I think we've kind of got all the, incubators situated in such vacationing places, right? So look forward to catching up with all of you soon.
Hey, nice meeting you all. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Gaurav. Yeah. Nice meeting all of you.